These two players, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Hera spawns in over on the east side of the map, playing the Holy Roman Empire in the color blue. His opponent, who spawns on the west side of the map in the color yellow. It is not the Viper, it is Wam01, and he is also playing the Holy Roman Empire. Interestingly, he got the yellow color here, not playing on the color red. Yeah, we'll have to watch out for that. But let's take a look at these spawns. One of the things to note, Lidakor, is that Hera has spawned with a bit of a weird shaped base. What's going on there?
Yep, he's got some cliffs behind his base. Not something that's really going to hurt him, but it's going to be a little annoying when it comes to placing farms and stuff like that. Really not something that he needs to worry about, though. Everything else seems to be fairly reasonable for him. One of the big questions is going to be whether or not this is actually passable here, because he's got free entrances into his base, and that's the usual way this map spawns, so you got free entrances to your hill. But I wonder if this actually is a tiny opening here. I don't think it is, because there's some rocky parts over there, but there's absolutely no way to tell right now. And this
that is totally open. No, that's 100% open. I've seen a few openings in my time, Lidakor. I can tell you're looking at that right now. That is easily open. You're gonna get entire armies going through that one, buddy.
You said the same thing in the previous game, and it was closed.
That is not true. That is defamation, and I will have you sued for that, my friend. No, yeah. Look, I'll be honest with you. I've got no clue, but my money is on that it is open.
Yeah, I'm suspecting it is open. It's probably a very, very narrow gap as well. Usually you would see a lot more rocks blocking the grass. I think if the grass is continuous, it's actually plausible, but it depends on how many rocks you have on it. So this is one of those situations where this might go unnoticed, whether or not it's open. But that's something to keep monitoring. Aside from that, one thing to note is that both of the forests that Wam has are up on the front, so that could be a little concerning for him, whereas for Hera, it's a lot more spread out, one on the right side, one on the left side. His gold mines are also quite evenly spread, whereas for Wam, all of those are down south. So in the event that Hera gets any kind of army into the base of Wam over here, this could be quite concerning, having all of your golds on the same side, your forests on the front, because you have a ton of exposed resources out here.
Yeah, for me, the big question is relics. Who do you reckon's got the advantage here? So we've got one relic to the direct south. A little, I'd say probably about halfway between both players. You've got one relic a little bit closer to Hera's base over on that right-hand side. Then you've got a really nice one up in here in the pocket for Wam. And then by the same token over towards the right, just above Hera's base, you've got that one out there as well. But then the last one's this one in the middle, which is kind of right out the front of Wam's base. And I kind of feel like it's a little bit, I mean, it's obviously in favor of Wam. But if you were going to pick one of these spawns, which one would you go for if you got to choose just based on the relics?
Oh, just based on the relics, I'd probably favor Wam's one because he's got two rather close to his base. Hera's got two as well. They're a little more spread out. And this one down south is really sort of in the neutral ground. So I think Wam has a tiny bit of advantage, but that advantage is quite minimal. So it's not like a game-changing advantage whatsoever. And if you combine it with the fact that Wam's resource spawns are quite underwhelming, I honestly feel like the combination of the resource and the relic locations would make me like Hera's base or Hera's spawn a little bit better. But based on purely on the relics, it's probably Wam's place that I favor more.
Yeah. I got to agree with you. I think you're on the money. That could be a determining factor. It's always important to remember when it comes to these games, especially HRE mirrors, you're going to be wanting to fight over those relics extra hard. So we'll have to see how it goes out. But both players now going down with Ark and Chapel. So no Minework Palaces coming out, unfortunately, this game. But Ark and Chapel going to be par for the course in this situation. And how many villages? Wam's going... Oh, Hera's going up with 3. Wam, how many did he have on his? Was it 3 as well? Yeah, both players going up with 3 on each one. And current resources, you can see it looks sort of like players are thinking about going for professional scouts here.
Yep, that seems to be the case. Wam's also pretty heavy on the lumberjacking department, which is assigned towards that because he has to make a stable. He's going to have to make a mill as well. Meanwhile, on the other side, for Hera, he's already building a mill. Would have been interesting to see that mill being placed next to the berries, to be honest, because the hunt would have been still rather close, and you can just push in the deer towards those. So, makes me wonder why Hera placed it over here. Maybe he wanted to finish it by the time he gets the feudal.
Oh, no, he wants it right next to the Ark and Chapel. Yeah, true. So... yeah, it should just be able to get it in. You can see, yeah, the line's right there. I was thinking about that earlier. I was comparing it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, the Ark and Chapel's a little bit closer to the deer hunt here for Hera. So he's got the nicer spawn compared to what Wam's got But you can see Hera got a couple scouts already in the base of Wam. He's looking to probably just steal away 2 of those deer nice and early. But at the same time, we've got Wam that's over in the base of Hera, just being a little bit of annoying, being a bit sassy, taking out some damage right now onto some of those villagers, managing to keep about 4 or 5 of those villagers idle and force them back. You see them with their daggers out. When they got their daggers out, they're not chopping down trees, and that's what they should be doing. Get back to work, you lazy animals. All right, they're back to work.
Stable now coming in for Wam, and it looks like it's not going to be for scouts. It's going to be for horsemen, and there's not even a mill from him. So looks like he's just going to leverage the fact that Hera's base is wide open, and this is what I was referring to before. Technically, with the HRE, you want to get to Imperial, but given the fact that both of the players are thinking about Imperial Age, relics, there's definitely a window to do damage here early on with a couple of horsemen.
Yeah, I got to agree with you 100% on that. My fear is that obviously you get a barracks out and it's very easy to deal with the horsemen. Dealing with the knights, not so easy. Dealing with horsemen, very easy. But it looks like Hera just going to be going down a stable himself, going to be going up against up some horsemen, but I don't think he realizes that there's horsemen on the way. Wam actually going to be walling up his own side of the map. There are a couple scouts out. We do see professional scouts now coming through. No carcasses picked up just yet. But going to be able to bring those ones back, and now going to be having the villagers falling back. Woodline villagers going to be forced back, and it looks like Wam is going to be out here fighting with. He's got the 2 horsemen, the 1 scout going to be going up against the 2 scouts and 1 horseman. But obviously, defender's advantage here for Hera is going to mean he's able to reinforce this and eventually be able to win this fight a lot easier.
Exactly, but this of course gives a window for Wam to wall his base up. This, of course, slows down Hera's access to those huntables, so currently Hera invested a ton of resources into professional scouts, something that he's unable to use as of yet. And behind this one, Wam's eco is completely untouched, so I feel like this is a great investment right now for Wam, because Hera's gonna have to invest the same amount of horsemen anyways, but Hera's got a lot more idle time on him. So if you look at the resource banks, this is what you want to see if you're Wam. Hera having that professional scouts working out delayed is definitely something that's going to slow down his castle age progress, and as you said, the knights are going to be the difficult one to deal with. There's a massive discrepancy in the food eco of the 2 players, and in the lumberjacking department, Hera also had a lot of idle time. So really, Wam has invested into 4 horsemen as opposed to Hera's 3, but he's doing way more damage than Hera is capable of doing at his base.
Yeah, and one of the big things, as you mentioned, you know, Hera's gone for the professional scouts. I think it's a little bit of a mistake, and I'll explain why. If you're playing in any, say, normal non-mirror matchup, let's say you're playing against the French, it's appropriate for you to go into professional scouts because the French aren't going to be contesting your relics in the same way that other civilizations would be. Whereas if you're going up against the Rus or if you're going up against another HRE player, it's imperative that you get up to that next stage as quickly as possible. And we can see that Wam here, he's going up with 15 villagers on his Regnits. He is going up so damn fast that, like, that is ludicrous how quickly he is going up there. And he's still managed to get out all of these horsemen nice and early, but he hasn't gone for professional scouts, and it is demonstrated, or it is subsequently rewarded by his very quick age up time. You can already hear him picking up double relics, 1 out the front of his base, 1 up towards the north, both of them coming back in nice and early. He's going to be so happy with that. Compare that over to Hera, who is yet to even drop down that second, or that 3rd landmark. So, difficult spot for him.
It's a very difficult spot, and gotta love how Wam is using his horsemen just to make sure that Hera is chasing him. Because at this point, Hera's got the horsemen to kill the prelates of Wam, but instead, what Wam wants to see is Hera pursuing him with the horsemen, and that basically gives a free chance for Wam to pick up the relics. He already has 2 coming in for him, and he should have no trouble picking up a 3rd one, probably from the south. He already has a prelate moving out, and if he takes that,
oh my god,
and the neutral one as well, this could easily be 4 relics even, and of course, any moment in the next couple of seconds, we could see some knights hitting the field, something that could start sniping down Hera's horsemen over here. And Hera's base is wide open, so Hera's also going to struggle against superior knight numbers because he's behind in castle age timing.
I feel like this is a good game already. Just a very, very simple outplay coming through from Wam with the early horsemen like that. And I think the big mistake was really Hera going for that professional scouts when you don't need it. So you can see that Wam is, instead of going for professional scouts, he's just gone for walls. Very simple mathematics. And now he's just moved the mill on top of the deer hunt. So instead of having to get that in, it's a very... Do not underestimate how expensive that is. Professional Scout's very expensive. So you're looking at, what is it, 75 wood, 275 gold. That's going to slow you down. That's half the gold that you need to get up to the castle age. You're spending it. So, you know, your opponent is going to be up that much faster than you. And now Hera obviously reaching the 3rd age, but so many of these relics already being taken off the map. How many relics are here out for Hera? Hera's got one up here towards the north he's about to pick up, but that's about it. I mean, he's got this other relic down to the south. His prelate moving out towards it, but unfortunately it's already been taken away. Is Hera aware of that last relic down in that bottom corner?
Yep, he is.
He is. Wallalob towards the north. Gonna actually be able to pick up this knight if he's not careful. Does look like it is going to go over towards Hera. A pretty nice little victory there, considering he's just increased his knight numbers from 3 to 4. I'd take that trade.
And he also decreased his opponent's knight numbers by 1. So it's actually better than killing that knight, because you're getting 1 extra knight, and your opponent is going to lose 1. And as things stand, Hera is actually going to pick that relic up here. So given the circumstances, Hera has to be satisfied with this one. For a long time, it really seemed like Hera is not going to have more than 1 relic over here.
Yeah, not actually too bad for Hera, considering he was up a lot later than his opponent. It's actually quite a decent consideration that he's managed to pick up 2 relics.
Wam doesn't know about it.
I'm impressed. Oh, Wam didn't know. Wam didn't know the last location of that relic, but he's going to be able to find it right now as the two Wam, bam, thank you, Knights move in and secure the relic over there. Now, he does have a prelate that's nearby to pick that up, doesn't he? Oh, my lord. Oh, he just went straight through. Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good for Wam at all. There's a lot of knights in that mix. Idling the entire wood line right there. So, unfortunately, it looks like he left a wall segment just ever so slightly unmade. And that's really cost him right here behind this. You can see the income per minute for Wam. It's slightly lower than Hera's, but he's going to be having a difficult spot. That villager managing to stay alive by getting through the gates. You can see it did take a hit, but fortunately survives. Very well played from Wam on that front. But unfortunately, this wall didn't go all the way through for him, and now he's had a really difficult spot because he's got an opening.
Yeah, and that opening, Hera can use to just trickle in knights. And I did mention that once you get those knights in there, you can suddenly deny all the gold income, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Wam is struggling quite mightily to clean these up, and that's going to be quite a lot of casualties inflicted upon him. And down south, we have some wolves freaking out. For a moment, I thought Hera is contesting that relic that Wam is bringing back. I think Wam is still going to have that 4th relic. Finally, getting all of this cleaned up. There is a chance that this wall is going to be finished in time here, thanks to the knights. So, crisis averted over here, and indeed, relic number 4 is coming in. Looks like all those wolves were fought against by the knights simply because the prelate is almost dead here. So, wolves causing a tiny bit of chaos here.
I'm really curious what happened there. So did Wam just get destroyed by a bug? Is that what that is? Because that looked like it's fully walled. You can see he's now had to come out and re-wall it, just making sure that it is safe. But I'm pretty sure he went all the way up to the wood line and it wouldn't let him get any closer. He's put that down and he thought that was safe. So unfortunate to lose all that idle time. A few villages as well were lost. And of course, that relic going down as well. Once again, they are fighting very heavily over that relic, and you can see a prelate now moving out for Hera as well, looking to secure that up. It's so important he keeps this one alive.
Well, your wish shall not be granted, because here come the knights from Wam, and considering how close that relic is to Wam's base, it would be a massive surprise if Wam did not pick that up. But one thing that he can pick up is a couple of villagers from Hera whose base was wide open, so here comes Wam to retaliate.
Yeah, not only that, Hera also dropping down farms very close to the town center as well, very early in the game. So despite having professional scouts, hasn't actually secured up a whole lot of hunt out here, unfortunately for him. And now towards the front of Wam's base, he is under threat or under siege. These knights are out here, and you can see Wam trying to sneak out a little bit of a prelate to get through, but not having a lot of luck, and Wam doing a pretty decent job on this wood line.
He is doing a lot of work, and because of that aggression from the horseman and the scouts before, many of these villagers are heavily damaged, so they don't take a lot of hits to kill, and as you see, Wam is picking up quite a lot of them. Will be able to take a stock tally at some point, but there is just constant action going all over the map because Hera breaks through to the middle, and it's not like Wam has a ton of knights to fight against this one. Relic on the south is still not picked up by either side.
Yeah, it's still out there, still ready to be taken. Do we see any prelates moving out? It's hard to see at the moment just because of how much action there is all around this map. Just knights out everywhere. And it looks like the prelate from Wam is going to be able to go out and pick that up. He's going to need to drop down a monastery to get that fourth one, the gold income that it needs. But really demonstrating his prowess here on the Holy Roman Empire. Looking incredibly strong. A lot of multitasking as well, so managed to do quite effectively the raids over on Hera, but Hera's still yet to wall up, and that's quite curious. On this map, you kind of need to wall. It's so easy to wall up on this map. You're being silly if you don't wall. Oh, it's not going to go off.
Nope, nope, it's not.
He's got a dream right there. That was a dream. Yeah, unfortunate for him, but this relic once again going to be dropped down on the ground. How many times this game has that been? I think 1, 2, 3, 4 times it's been on the ground, been dropped down. But
sort of.
Yeah, tough spot.
And the reason why Wam's position is difficult right now is those berries are being denied, and I count 3 villagers on food. He was on berries and hunt for a long time, and those just ran out. He basically has no farming eco established, and Hera just keeps trickling in knights. Wam sort of kamikazing the villagers out there to try and get the walls up. I think he managed to get those up, which also traps all the forces of Hera inside, splitting those knights into half.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. Now you can see the attack move or animation cancelling that's happening. Looks like a pretty decent mass increase there for Wam. So being able to wall out those extra knights has really helped him out here, and he's managed to secure up a nice little lead. Now those reinforcements really going to help him here as well, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a villager move out towards that wall and just secure up that front line as that prelate moves out towards that relic down towards the south and looks to secure it up. The 4th out of the 5 relics going to be safely secured in the base of Wam.
And the most important thing here is not the fact that he's got a 4th one, it's the fact that Hera doesn't even have a 2nd one. So the gold income discrepancy is quite noticeable. There is 900 per minute for Wam, as opposed to Hera having, well, about 500, but with 13 gold miners. Was once again broken through though, and there is still insufficient amount of knights over here for Wam, simply because his food eco wasn't established for the knights production. Hera's got way better knight numbers, and he can start rampaging the eco of Wam.
Yeah, Wam now going to be coming back with more knights, trying his best to deflect this, and actually going to be having a bit of luck here, deflecting it out the front. These knights are going to have to fall back. What are the knight differences between these two players? So we got Wam with how many knights out at the moment? So 16 military. Compare that over to 23 from Hera.
Yep.
Nice little charge coming in here on the front as well. Wam cleaning up 1 knight. Going to be able to get the re-wall. Probably going to be dropping down a gate as well, and looking to secure this one up. Wam really needs to stabilize at this point. If he can stabilize, he will win the game. That is really the bottom line.
Exactly. He needs to just stabilize here. Looking at the villager counts, it's 41 for Hera, 31 for Wam though, so he definitely took a beating. Of course, the extra relics will compensate for that quite easily, and of course, once you get to Imperial Age, the Pass of Shwabia can also help compensate for that. But Wam could really use some stone walls, honestly, because as long as those walls are palisade, Hera can break through those, and you see that Wam is sort of struggling to keep Hera outside of his base at this point.
Yeah, he's having a difficult job doing it. One of the things that he could do, so if Hera is sieging down his wall, Wam can actually charge through to Hera, and get that additional damage on the lance. Whereas Hera wouldn't be able to do that because he's right up against the wall, so unable to get those charges out. Now we can see Wam doing his best to try and get out here. He's pointing out the lances at his opponent, managing to take out a couple of those horses. Now Hera going to be turning around and looking to try and do a bit of animation cancelling himself. Unfortunately, this still hasn't been patched out. Players going to be looking like they're making mistakes, but I assure you, they're trying to maximize the amount of damage that they're able to do to the enemy. Hera numbers looking quite strong here, and a formidable mass is beginning to build. Wam going to have to fall back in this position as he's only got a handful of lances that remain. And looks like Hera is starting to pull ahead despite having a lower number of relics.
Hera has a lot more streamlined food eco because he has started establishing his farming eco a lot longer. And now that's showing on the battlefield. He's got a lot of knights in here, although many of those knights are heavily damaged. So the numbers are somewhat deceiving here. Hera's forces are heavily damaged as well. And on the north, looks like we have Wam sending over a knight trying to get some damage done, but really that inflicts minimal damage on Hera. If Hera manages to heal up all these knights, he's gonna be in a great position, and he's also grabbing the sacred sites, something that you can definitely do if your opponent is turtling up like we're seeing Wam do. So pick up the free sacred sites, it's gonna give you a very nice gold recall, help compensate for the relic deficit that you have, and of course, it's going to trigger the sacred site countdown, so it's going to force your opponent to make a move soon.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Sacred Site countdown. It's a win condition, but you're not really using it for the win condition. It's primarily for that trickle of gold that comes in. For anyone unfamiliar, Sacred Sites are going to provide 100 gold every minute. Passive gold each. So 300 gold at the moment being collected for Hera. And hey, it's better than nothing. Better than a kick in the butt. Better than a slap in the guts with a wet fish. That's what my dad always used to tell me. But yeah, it's when you compare it to the gold that comes in from the relics of the HRE, it's not that much, but hey, it's still pretty good.
As things stand, the biggest problem for Wam right now is that he's just nowhere close to Imperial Age. And that's going to be concerning because his original plan was probably to secure the relics and then go Imperial Age with the Palace of Shwabia. Hera once again coming in with the charge. We're seeing an increased amount of spearmen appearing on the battlefield though, and that could help swing this in the favor of Wam for the time being. Once again, animation castling being pulled by Hera and Wam here. Tower not garrison, so there is no additional firepower coming in here for Wam, but it looks like he's going to be able to repel Hera's forces here. Or is he?
Oh, I'm sorry, my internet's just cut out. I'm not sure if I'm still with you, Lidakor.
Yes, you're with me, but don't worry, the Knights of Hera are also still with us, whereas on the other side, Wam's forces are just disappearing from the battlefield. Slowly but surely the spearmen trickle in, and now they're hardened, but Hera's influx of reinforcements seems to be a lot more consistent compared to the ones of Wam. Wam is struggling mightily to keep his food eco under his control, and if he starts losing his food eco, he's just gonna have no resource income. Heck, there is not a single villager working for Wam at this very moment.
He's got a couple of spearmen out. Spearmen doing their best to try and hold on at this point in time, but keep in mind the spearmen aren't going to be upgraded. They're not going to have the same level of actually, I take that back. These are veteran spearmen. I've just put my glasses on. There we go. But tell me what the upgrades are right now for Wam. Are we able to take a look and see what sort of upgrades he's running from his blacksmith?
Sure thing. Looking at his blacksmith, he doesn't have the infantry speed upgrade. He has 1 melee attack and 1 melee defense, as well as 1 range defense. But that's basically it. Range defense is a bit of a surprising choice over here, given the fact that we're not seeing a single archer. So the only legitimate use of it would be when you fight close to the town center or towers of Hera. But that's not really happening right now. Wam is going to revolt this, but it is getting more and more worrisome for him that his villager count is just very low. It's 30. It was like 31 2 and 3 minutes ago. Hera's up to 50, and now, despite the fact that Hera doesn't have 4 relics, 3 of them in the Ragnitz Cathedral for Wam, Wam has 1,000 gold per minute passive gold income from those relics. But of course Hera, with 1 in the Ragnitz Cathedral that's 300, 3 Sacred Sites that's 600, and the 20 extra villagers he has, that's actually an advantage at this point for Hera, I think, in the eco.
Well, I guess my question is, what's he doing with the relic? I'm not sure if you saw this. He picked up the relic and then he moved it out of his base. I think he wants to donate it over to Hera. He feels bad that he's got so many relics. It's like, I've got 4 relics. You've only got 1 here. Here, Hera, I'll be a nice lad. I'll give it to you. But it looks like, where is that relic gone? Is it gone back towards the base?
Yep.
Yeah, there it goes now.
I think he wanted a conversion,
might have misclicked that.
I think he wanted a conversion, but it's a little risky because you lose that relic, Hera's gonna have another one, and you will throw away a lot of your advantage. Hera coming in with the cavalry up north, and that's a very fragile palisade gate to break through. I feel like if those knights get in, by the time the spearmen get back for Wam, it's gonna be too late.
Yeah, and you saw him pulling off the spears off the sacred site a little bit too early there. Manages to do it now, but yeah, now he's going to really try and abuse the mobility of his forces. Wam got pulled out that relic and looking to be a bit more defensive here. Might be able to set this one off in advance just a little bit. You can see preventing the lancers or the knights from trespassing onto his base any further. Those spearmen do manage to get back in time. Going to be able to prevent this, and quite a decent mass beginning to build up, and this is where Hera is going to be able to switch. If he spots this out, and look at the Lance Connect coming out for Hera. Oh, Lidakor, now we're getting serious.
Indeed, the Lance Connect there, very fragile infantry unit, but it is the single best unit to deal with spearmen. It is an infantry unit that's very fragile, but has a ton of damage output because of its area damage. So when you have a clustered up group of spearmen like that, then Landsknechte will just slaughter them in 5 seconds. And the Landsknechte alone wouldn't be good, because archers, mangonels just kill them so easily. They're so fragile. 80 HP is actually comparable to a villager with the tech stores upgrade. Speaking of which, a couple of villagers without tech stores going down here from Hera to the raid of Wam.
He's doing a good job getting in this base. Hera going for the no wall challenge. This is a challenge that sometimes people like to do. Look, probably not the best time to do it when you're in a $20,000 tournament. The no wall challenge, yeah, look, popularized by GUA. But I would recommend against it in these circumstances, Hera. I'd encourage you to make some walls, stop those raids from coming in.
Exactly. You could just buy yourself so much freedom. You wouldn't have to chase those knights with your own, and you could just focus all your efforts in the middle, and you got the army for it. So, the Landsknecht are fairly fragile, but when you have a big meat shield in front of them, like that group of knights, it's a completely different story, and it looks like many of the spearmen also get isolated, meaning that the Landsknecht will just clean them up before they can even retreat.
Oh, this is going to be good. A lot of lances or a lot of knights coming out, and look at these Landsknechts saying, come back here! Come back here, you dirty rat. They're trying their best. You can see him chasing with that huge sword. Look at him swing from downtown. Somehow he manages to make a connection. Seems like a... I was going to say something. Never mind. We're on the EGC channel. I'm not on my personal channel. I can't make those kind of jokes here. But all of those spearmen managing to get out, and it looks like Hera having a pretty decent time as he heads in towards the base and looks to secure up the victory with this significant unit advantage.
Wam could save his spearman because he had the walls to retreat behind, but realistically speaking, he doesn't have the army right now to beat Hera's forces. So all Hera needs to do is just group up his army, gather the Landsknecht, support them with the knights, and march into the base of Wam, and Wam is going to have no answer to that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Once these two are linked up, and that's exactly what he seems to be doing right now, it's going to be incredibly difficult for Wam to hold that. And keep in mind, this entire time, Wam's had the relic advantage. I mean, I talked about this earlier. I said, as long as Wam gets up, as long as he's stable, as long as he's got the 3 relics in the bag, he's going to be Gucci. But right now, Wam sits with 3.4k gold. Jeez Louise, you gotta really scratch your head and wonder what the heck he's doing with it all, because yeah, at this point it's not looking pretty for him.
He's not doing anything because it's a nice thing to have gold, but when you don't have food, wood, or stone, it doesn't matter. Like, his villager count is still disturbingly low. In a 27-minute long game, 39 villagers is not spectacular. He's getting close to Imperial Age over here, but I feel like his window may have already closed, because now Hera has invested all his resources into an army, and that army is about to slaughter all the spearmen. That is gonna look ugly. Conversion popped, and that is going to discourage the Landsknecht from charging in, but that's just a delay.
Yeah, he's got to go back. He's got to pull out the rest of those relics. You can see the monk is heading back, and more relics are coming out. He's doing the right thing. He needs to get more of them out, but ideally get all your relics, get all your prelates down here. They need to be doing their best, because these Landsknechts are not going to be very nice to these spears. And now the spear's going to be running in. These guys are going to get absolutely slaughtered. You can see, oh my god, look at the bodies hit the floor. Wallalol comes off. He tries his best. Unfortunately, it looks like Hera is paying attention, falls back outside the safety of that circle, manages to come back in, and these numbers for Hera are overwhelming at this point in time. How does Wam even hold on? He's got the relic advantage, but I tell you what, does not have the military advantage. I don't think he's too long for this world, Lidakor.
Yeah, this is a serious problem right now for Wam, because he only has spearmen. The Landsknecht that will just slaughter them. Look at that fight happening right now. The knights even charge in, not even caring about the spears, because they know exactly the Landsknecht that will just slaughter them. In just 5 seconds, the army of Wam disappears, leaving just dead bodies behind, and with that, the chances of Wam of taking this game and the set are gone. Hera finishes this set in a 3-0 fashion.
Very, very decisive victory there from Hera. Wam, what an incredible run, mate. Congratulations for making it this far in the tournament. Before this tournament, you were just a speck in the eye of the competitive scene, but now you are a fully fledged competitor. So congratulations for making it this far, and congratulations going over towards Hera. He's graduated up to the grand final, and he is going to be looking to take out some victories, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to assess things indeed. Some crazy games in here, so 3-0 victory for Hera indeed, but if we look at the games that have gone down, game number 1, very, very intriguing way of Wam playing it, and for a long time it seemed like he had a window, but then ultimately open map, Hera was able to close this out. Game number 2 could have really gone either way, and if Wam sent those bombars just 5 seconds earlier, or if Hera just hesitated 5 more seconds making that wonder, Wam would have had that game and we would be at 1-1 right now. And then this game, Wam had a great start, but the fact that, despite the fact that he had these woes up, he never really was able to secure his economy started to snowball things, because ultimately, he just lost so many villagers. And if you look at the overall economies, it's basically dead even, despite the fact that Hera was down 3 relics compared to an HRE player. It's because Vam's villager count was never really there and Hera was able to compensate